I went from this to this. How did I do it? And how can you improve your health radically? So to start today, I've got a challenge for you guys. Leave a danmu and guess how much I weighed, bearing in mind that I'm about 181 centimeters tall. I'll tell you the answer at the end of the video. Are you guys ready? Because it's story time. 6 years ago, I had a job working in an advertising company that was not my own. I was operating their office in Beijing as the country manager for China. At that time, I lived in an apartment that was directly next to the office building. I was doing only about 2,000 steps total per day. This was around the same time that Waimai, or food delivery, became such a huge thing in China. I didn't even have to walk to the restaurant. I also had an extremely high pressure job, which meant I was working days that started around 9 a.m. and finished around 10 p.m. So I was working roughly 14 hours a day with limited time for exercise and a lot of stress. But if you'd asked me at the time if I was fat or overweight, I probably would have said no. And I think I'd normalized this idea that I was just bigger than Chinese people, because in general, let's face it, Americans in general are much bigger than people in China across the board. But dollars to donuts, I was overweight. I needed to make a change. Things began to change in 2016 when I decided to open my own company called Relay, or in Chinese, Rulei. So the first thing I did was decided to go to the doctor and get a complete and comprehensive tijian, or health check. And I'll put some of those numbers on screen now. You guys can get a chance to see. At that time, my body weight was too high, my cholesterol was high, my blood pressure was high. So all these health markers I had were more like those of an unhealthy middle-aged man as opposed to a guy who was in his mid-20s. So it was a bit scary. So at that point, I decided to get in shape. And there were 5 key technology-driven tools I used to do so that I want to share with you today. So the first tool I want to talk about is the Smart Scale. So these are things you can find on Taobao. The one that I use is from a company called Keep, from Beijing, but there's many other brands like Xiaomi, Huawei, etc. Smart Scale is a baseline when it comes to getting your health in order. And there's a few key points to make about smart scales. So the first one is just about your weight in general. In the beginning of your fitness journey, you're not worried so much about body composition, but just about overall weight. Many people have a lot of fat to lose. But as you progress on your fitness journey, the second thing that starts to become important is about body composition. So it's not just about the raw number, but it's about the ratio that takes place between, for instance, body fat and body muscle. A key piece of advice I would also share is don't fixate on daily fluctuations in weight. There are many factors that can change your daily weight if you're tracking day by day, things like sodium intake, water intake, dehydration, alcohol. All of these things can have major fluctuations even within 1 to 2 kilograms on a daily basis. The second key tool I would recommend folks to consider when it comes to fitness technology is about fitness bands, like the 2 you'll see here. So the nice thing about these tools is they allow you to track other key metrics, one being step count. So for anyone who's trying to lose fat, I would recommend you do a minimum of 10,000 steps per day. Getting this level of activity is going to raise what's called your basal metabolic rate. The second useful aspect of these kind of fitness bands is about resting heart rate. So resting heart rate is a useful metric to determine your overall level of fitness. For most people, the average is around 60 beats per minute. But the more fit you are, the lower your resting heart rate will become. Tracking your resting heart rate over time will allow you to see trends in your overall fitness. People with lower resting heart rates actually tend to live significantly longer. And beyond athletes, you also have people like Buddhist monks who are, during meditation, can actually bring their resting heart rate down to below 30 beats per minute. An additional useful feature of smart bands is about tracking exercise. So these can track basically during any individual exercise, but I would caution not to use the calories burned during exercise as an excuse to use more food. One mistake I made when I started losing weight was that I would take the calories I burned from exercise and add them to the amount of calories I thought I could eat in a certain day. Gluttonous Jim would go away and say, okay, well that means I can eat an entire pizza or 5 baozi or some other delicious food item. The third technology I would recommend is dead simple, and it's about a tripod you use to take pictures of yourself. You can buy this on Taobao, and taking pictures of yourself either on a daily or weekly basis. And you might ask, why do I need to do that if I'm already using a smart scale to track my body composition? But at least for me, there's many things that are happening at the same time when you start a diet and exercise program. And as you build muscle, your body weight can increase. Muscle weighs more than fat. But at the same time, as you lose fat, your body weight can decrease. Now there are some caveats here. One important aspect of this is the tripod needs to be fixed in the same position with the same lighting on a weekly basis. If you move the tripod, if you change the lighting, it can actually dramatically affect the way your body looks in each picture, and you lose this useful standard of comparison on a week-to-week basis. Another thing that's important is don't flex in the photos. When I first started tracking my fitness, I would always try to do all kinds of poses to show how muscly I was, but I would encourage people to relax. And when it comes to these pictures, another useful tool is to find another person who can view these pictures in order to assess your progress externally. Now, here in China, it's quite easy to find offline coaches. You can go into a gym and find somebody who's going to push you very hard on a daily basis or a few times a week in order to perform certain exercises in the gym. But if your goal is changes in body composition, doing this is not enough. What you really need is someone who's going to assess your entire fitness goal on a holistic basis and give you recommendations for all your lifestyle habits, including things like diet, sleep, nutrition, and overall habits that are going to help you change your body composition. So for me, I found a coach in Shanghai named Alberto. So this is Alberto, as we said. One other small tip I would share related to coaching is about different body types. So the 3 different body types you can consider when it comes to fitness are the endomorph, the mesomorph, and the ectomorph. For me, I'm an endomorph. So this means it's quite easy for me to gain body fat or muscle quite easily and to gain mass quite easily. So when you talk to your coach, try to determine your overall body composition and optimize your diet and nutrition strategy accordingly. Now, the 5th and final technology-driven strategy I would suggest is about 朋友圈 or your friends circle. So for me, I'm a person who's motivated by external validation. This is probably why I'm also a Wanghong or influencer on the internet. And for me, when I want to lose body fat or change my body composition, I make a point of telling the 5 to 10 most important people in my life that I'm in the process of doing so. And you'll see this sometimes with people on WeChat, for instance, here in China, who change their profile picture and say, 不减10斤我就不改. So people who say they're not going to change their profile picture until they've lost 10 jin or 5 kilogram. But for me, I found if you tell the people you communicate with the most, whether it's your friends, your significant other, your family, or your coworkers, if you tell those people you're in the process of losing weight, those people will also support you in achieving your fitness goals. My current body fat is around 20%, and my goal is to cut down to 10% or below in the next 3 to 4 months. So for my own fitness strategy, there's some key tips that I'll have going forward for myself. The first one is I'm going to be hiring the coach that I mentioned here in Shanghai. In addition to my coach, I'm also going to be using the Keep Smart Scale to monitor changes in my body composition, and I'll be publishing my results as a form of 朋友圈 here on Bilibili as well as on YouTube. This journey starts today. At the beginning of the video, I asked you guys to guess how much I weighed at the start of my fitness journey. I was 110 kilogram, or 220 jin. If you want to lose weight, leave a comment below and let us know how much weight or body fat you'd like to lose. Now I'm around 92 kilogram. As I said, I'm going to start changing my body composition again soon, and I'm interested to see where we get to in the coming months. If you guys are interested in more health and fitness related content related to technology, also let us know in the comments below. And if you think we should set up a Douyin channel specifically just to talk about health and fitness related comments, please do let us know. We've been considering this for several months, and we'd love to hear what you guys think. This is Jim Fields from Jim Buzai Guigu. See you next week.